Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and we are back to talk about Aston Villa versus Chelsea from Villa Park on Sunday. Villa were coming into the game with a lot of pressure on Gerrard. We had gone four unbeaten, but the pressure was high. And with Chelsea coming and Graham Potter, it was always going to be a tough one. And we will be getting into all of that after this. Okay, so it was Villa Park, it was Chelsea, and Steven Gerrard was under a lot of pressure coming into the game. I've got mixed feelings about this game, boys, because for the first time in a long time, I actually think we played really, really well. Unfortunately, though, it was a defeat, and we shot ourselves in the foot, Noah. After 5 or 6 minutes with Tyrone Mings poor header to Mason Mount. It was 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I'm actually just really disappointed with the result. I mean, can you really blame Stevie G for that result? I mean, I think it's hard. We had some massive chances in that first half, but as you said, I mean, it was an uphill climb from 6 minutes in with the header from good old Tyrone. But I mean, on another day, we win that. We could have scored 4 goals, man. Like that, I just think of that the one off Danny Ings, the header of Danny Ings. Like, how the hell did he say that one as well? The Jacob Ramsey one really screams to mind. I mean, you can show the highlights of the McGinn one from outside the box, but that was pretty straight at him. But Kepa, where's he been? £70 million keeper. I've been on the pine. Graham Potter comes in, absolute superstar. But one of those days. And as soon as that free kick went in from Mason Mount, by the way, like, I'm not sure if it dipped or not, but on the TV, it didn't look like the best free kick. Kind of went like in the middle of the goals, and Martinez moved.
I think Martinez tried to gamble a bit there and got caught wrong-footed. But yeah, it was all about the keeper at the other end, Kepa, Aman. Like we said, he's been pretty terrible for about 2 or 3 years for Chelsea, but against Villa, no, he's the best goalkeeper we've ever seen. So that's a typical just Aston Villa all over that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it just when he made those saves, it just wasn't going to be our day at all. And typical us, best game we've played. What were you, 4 unbeaten? Best game we've played in this 5 game spell, and we can't take the points. On another day, I reckon at least deserving of a draw. At the very least, at the very minimum. And I think that performance probably maybe saved Steven Gerrard for another week. Although if you go off Twitter and what I saw this morning, I was kind of very excited while I was at work on the shitter. So Aston Villa account tweet that Steven Gerrard has been sacked and shared it in the group chat, and then 5 minutes later realized that it was a fake account. So
Yes. Yeah, I woke up to the same message, and I too was very excited to see that the club had fired the bullet and had got rid of Gerrard, but unfortunately it's not true. But there is still a lot of rumors that it will happen in the next sort of 24, 48 hours. Noah, can you see this happening?
I mean, I can. I mean, I said all along, I think he gets to the World Cup, but I think, in my opinion, the earlier the better at this kind of stage. I mean, Dean Smith was gone, I think, this time last season, if I'm not wrong. And again, I'll say it. I said it in the Facebook group. The 12 months. It wasn't that Dean Smith's 5-game losing streak was the reason why he was sacked. It was a 12-month form. Sure. And you're going to tell me 2 wins in 10 this season and 8 wins in 30 is a good enough progression in 12 months? I don't think so. So I think he will eventually be sacked. If it's not today, I mean, it should be, but yeah.
Before the World Cup, I think we could all agree that it's most likely, unless there's some sort of miraculous turnaround, that it will happen. The number one name among being banded around is Mauricio Pochettino. Do you think that's possible? And what would be your thoughts if he was appointed?
I think the only way it's going to be possible is if the owners say to Poch, we'll back you, because I think he's going to want to come in. We do have, in my mind, a decent set of players. But in saying that, there are some players that aren't performing, who I'm sure if, Poch is going to be the one that's taken over, he's probably already watching us play. He's probably, looking at players, dare I say it, John McGinn, fan favourite, and probably thinking, yep, you're not going to be in my starting 11. I need someone to replace him. He might be looking at Esri Konsa, even though he's been playing well, and say, you're not in my starting 11 either, Ollie Watkins. So I think if, the owners are serious about Pochettino or Tommy Tuchel, they're going to have to back him. That's the only way they're going to come and manage Aston Villa. If the owners say, this is your squad and we're not going to give you funds in January, do what you can, I don't think we're going to get a manager in the same sort of caliber as those two.
Yeah, I would think that Pochettino would be unlikely, but just because everything I'm hearing about him is he wants to wait to the World Cup and see where everyone is, come January and before he takes up a new job. But it didn't go well for him at PSG. His stock did fall a little bit there. He fell out with the players and all them, but he's not the first one to do that at PSG. So personally, I would love it, because the number one thing with Pochettino that I saw at Spurs was he brought through the young players and he really developed them. But we don't know yet. There hasn't been any confirmation. So we'll go back to the game, Noah. We started off with a couple of changes from Gerrard. Coutinho and Buendia were dropped for Ings and Bailey, and we played Ollie Watkins off the left with Ings as the number 9 and Bailey from the right-hand side. What did you think of that when you saw that when the lineups were announced?
I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, because we all know that Gerrard does have his favourites, and normally this season it's either been one of Coutinho or Buendia drop for each other sort of thing. But I thought a very, very bold move. I was actually quite impressed with the team, and I mean, it played well. The team actually played well, in my opinion. I'd like to see Luiz a little bit more higher up the pitch, but he did his role really well. I mean,
I thought he played really well, Luiz.
You take out the mistake from Mings 6 minutes in. Do we rebound like we didn't have those few 5 chances like flurrying? Do we? I mean, I don't know, but on a different day, a different keeper, we could have scored 3 or 4 goals against Chelsea. And a lot of people saying it was kind of like the Tottenham game from last season, where we really went at it hard in the first half, and then the second goal in the Tottenham game, which was like the sucker punch, which it kind of was in this game as well. And unfortunately, we didn't quite get the rewards we were hoping for. I mean, some fans were hoping we would lose because they want Gerrard gone, but I go into every game, whatever manager it is, and I want to win games. I want to see Villa pick up points. I don't like seeing us in, what are we, 17th? 16th? I don't like it. No one likes it. So I want to see us get points.
Definitely. And we can talk about the Kepa saves, and they were great, but there were also, Aman, plenty of other chances that weren't taken. There was one for Ollie Watkins where the ball dropped right at his feet and he took a bad touch, and he was 6 yards out, completely unmarked. There was another one where John McGinn tried to squeeze it in from a tight angle. I think that was after the Kepa save, the one from Ramsey. And there was just, we can say, oh, it was unlucky, and we put them under a lot of pressure and play well. But there is the other point that bad finishing is bad football. And I think our lack of confidence really showed in those key moments at times.
Well, I think Ollie Watkins, bad first touch. Ollie Watkins, missed chance, story of our season. That's, why we're 16th. We could be higher up the table. If he had a better first touch, if he, had the confidence to take his chances, I think this type of formation suits us. Ollie hasn't been performing as a number 9. Put him out wide, hopefully maybe a run of games out on the left. He might, get better confidence, maybe more space for him to run in behind. We really haven't had a good left winger since Jack left. And then even saying that we had Anwar El Ghazi, who was, up and down all the time. But when he was up, he was a good left winger. Since those two have left the club, we haven't really had anyone on the left, Coutinho sometimes starts on the left, but clearly out of form. Ollie out of form as a 9, him playing on the left, us, being a bit more defensively sound and, hitting teams on the counter with the pace of, Bailey on one side or even Buendia starting on the right side as well, Ollie on the left. Could work. Like to see Dodonka start in midfield and Louise push higher. I think that could be that could give us some better control and balance in the midfield as well. But yeah, bad finishing and lack of confidence story of our season so far.
Well, that's it. I mean, the Ollie move to the left, Noah. It takes a little bit of pressure off him because you've got Ings in there now as the main number 9, and he does the defensive job, and he's always done that throughout the season. That's something you're always going to get from Ollie Watkins. But I think with just the pace of him and Bailey in those wide areas, we put Chelsea under a lot more pressure at the back. And, when they were coming out with the ball, we pressed them quite well. We looked to have a lot more energy, and we were playing the ball a lot quicker to the likes of Bailey and Watkins. And I think it worked a lot better than when maybe Coutinho is there.
I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We're 1-0 down, we're losing the game, and Chelsea made 2 defensive subs at half-time. They bring on Koulibaly and brought an Aspilicueta. If that's not saying something, Graham Pott's got in there going, what the fuck's going on? We should be dominating this game. And they had to make 2 changes at the back, and they're winning 1-0. It's not like we were they're going to park the bus. We were putting under a lot of pressure. And look, I think it worked. It's just the confidence. I mean, Ollie Watkins, he's only played might be his 3rd season at striker, 4th season at striker, because he played 1 season at striker at Brentford. They missed out on promotion, came to Villa in that season behind closed doors, and so he played his best football out on the left for Brentford. He always loved playing on the left, getting in behind and doing that sort of stuff. So it could benefit him going back out to the left, and I really hope he stays there. And if Gerrard's there for Fulham, let's say, he needs to stick to a team. He needs to say, all right, we'll do this again. It worked. Yes, we didn't score, but just back it in. I don't want to come Friday morning for us, 6 a.m. and see Coutinho and Buendia back in the team when this formation actually worked well. Yes, okay, yes, we didn't score. I said that before, but we will. One of these chances has to go in. One of them has to. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating, but I could see Coutinho being back in for Fulham. Aman, that's just the way that Gerrard, he just seems to love him and he keeps going back to him. But I do hope it's the same for, same set of players, same starting 11, because Fulham and Brentford, our next 2 games are games that we should be winning, or should be at least competing and playing well and having a fair share of the ball. So do you think there'll be any changes, or do you think he'll stick with the same team?
I like Noah, keep the same team.
Yeah.
Keep the same team in, maybe 1 change at a max. But to be honest, like you said, I think, it being Fulham, he probably thinks, Fulham are going to not press as high or not have as much possession against us. So, we're going to have more of the ball. So we need players like Coutinho in there. So I expect to see Philip Coutinho's name in the starting 11. But I'd rather we play this squad with maybe 1 change.
And Noah, there was a bit of a controversial moment towards the end of the first half, I think it was, where Ben Chilwell went through on Jacob Ramsey, was it? Yeah, I think it was Ramsey. Yeah,
horrendous tackle.
Took his ankle out from behind. Only a yellow card given. Should it have been a red?
I think so. I think it is a clear and obvious error from the referee. I think it's a dangerous tackle. So, for example, if Jacob Ramsey is stretched off the field, will that have changed the decision of the referee? I think it's a red card. It was a high tackle. He got him on the ankle, missed all the ball. But again, the commentator said if that's given a red card on field, it probably stands.
Yeah.
So that means it should be a red card. Exactly. I get they got to back the referee, and I get it, but that was in my opinion, a clear and obvious error.
I mean, it was studs up. It was from behind. It was late. He actually went for the ball, and he went so early that he ended up, sliding into him out of control. He was completely out of control.
It's a red card. It's a red card. Even if, for example, if that was Jacob Ramsey on Chilwell, and we were talking about the other way roles, I would say I think we should have got lucky. If that was us, I would have said we got lucky and should have been a red card because it's horrendous tackle.
Well, a lot of people would say, man, that Chelsea would have, if that was the other way around, it would have favoured the top 6 side, and they would have got the red card in their favour. So, I don't want to go down sort of conspiratorial lines of thinking, but you do think, what do we actually need to get a bit of luck here? Like, everything was going against us in that match, and in that moment when the red card wasn't given, it just felt like, it's just not going to be our day at all. So, the other thing I wanted to bring up, Aman, was the atmosphere at Villa Park. It seemed very quiet from the home fans. I could hear the away fans singing "You're going to get sacked in the morning" to Gerrard a lot. And Villa Park just seems like a difficult place to be at as a fan or a player at the moment.
I think I read something about our fans joining in with the
Really?
away fans.
They did.
I think it was parts of the whole 10, and I think Ashley Prius actually asked that to Gerrard, and Gerrard said he heard it, or he certainly heard it from the away end, is what I heard. And bit of banter.
You could hear it on Villa on Tour's video. They were definitely singing it. So
he didn't ask any questions about Cameron Archer this week. Okay, that's good.
Interesting. After that interview or that exchange, that the news dropped that Archer's been carrying a niggle and will need to have surgery and that. So whether or not that's true, maybe it is, but it would have been nice to know, maybe know that in the beginning, and those sort of questions wouldn't be asked. Type of thing. Like, why be so secretive? Someone's got a niggle, that's why they're not getting minutes. It doesn't benefit the other team, them knowing that he has a slight knock or something like that. So just sometimes questionable decisions by Gerrard. That's what it's been this season, from the beginning of like pre-season to now. And he's just like, he's got to go. I don't care now if we beat Fulham. He's just got to go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players coming, like ex-players coming out on, I saw Tim Sherwood on TalkSport earlier, backing him, saying that he's the right man for the job and all this. And the question I'll put to you, and I'd put to him as well, is are you actually watching the games? Because if you were watching our last 5, 6, 7 games, there is no way that you couldn't say that Steven Gerrard is not getting the best out of this squad.
It's a joke. I mean, Coutinho has not got a goal or an assist since Manchester City away in the last day of the season, and he's our man, supposedly our man to pull the strings. I saw something like no one's made more dribbles into the final third than Coutinho, but he's done nothing with it.
No,
he's done nothing with it. Like if let's say he'd done that and had 3 goals, 4 assists, you beauty. That's right. He deserves that stat. But he does nothing with the ball really going forward at the moment. It's just
no. And
someone else will get the best out of these players at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
And I thought when Deer was brought on for Bailey, that really took the momentum out of the team.
He said why though. He said why. The physio said you can either play Leon Bailey 30 or 60 minutes. He said he chose 60, so the sub had to be made in that regard.
Well, I mean, does he have to listen to that? I mean, back in my day, that would the coach didn't care about shit like that.
I know, but Scotty, let's say he plays the full 90. Tears his quad, and we're like, why did he not listen? Why did he not listen to the physio? So there's always 2 ends to that sort of stuff.
I think if it was any other player besides Bailey, he might have given them like 85 minutes. But with Bailey,
he's made of glass, mate.
Yeah.
He's literally made of glass.
It's true. Yeah, I understand. Like if he'd ripped a muscle, then we will all be saying, "What are you doing?" So, I mean that's fair enough. Hopefully he is able to play a 90 minutes soon, because I think that he's definitely been one of our sort of better players in the attack this year. I mean, with the likes of Watkins, Coutinho, Ings, McGinn, all not firing. yeah, like Bailey is one of the guys you could say, well, he looks likely to get a goal. He didn't have the greatest sort of output in terms of chances and shots on the weekend, but he has been there. He's scored already this season, and hopefully, he can be back in against Fulham because we really need that pace and power down that right hand side, I think. Yeah, but I do like your idea for Dendoncker coming in because I thought he was quite good when he came on. Little cameo, and he's had a few of them since joining. But would it be McGinn that comes out in your, in this ideal world? But he is the captain. It's tricky.
Ideal world, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just say McGinn has a knock, like they've said with Archer, needs a rest. Play Dendoncker, push Louise forward. Yeah, that's what I would do. I think, Noah, you've mentioned it in the group chat now, captain being subbed off X amount of times, ridiculous amount of times for a captain, can't finish the 90. And that's not to say he's not fit. It's just he's not having an impact. So maybe 20 minutes off the bench might do McGinn good. Team will be tiring. He can come on and run around and, maybe grab a assist, a key pass, even a goal maybe. But yeah, I'd say Dendoncker in, push Louise higher, kind of frees up Louise, and then Dendoncker can, watch, what's his name, Andreas Pereira, in that Fulham midfield.
And I just want to touch on something from last week's video. I was criticized a bit in the comments for one thing I said.
So was I got ripped into, Scotty, too. I didn't even say it.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, no, I made a sort of off the cuff comment suggestion that Emma Hayes would be a good chance, a good a good replacement for Gerrard, and I think, like, thinking back, that was, it would obviously be very risky and probably not, like, our owners would never do it. But I think actually just in terms of like the quality that she brings and the knowledge that she brings, she could do a good job. So I stick by what I say, but I do agree with your points in the comments that it would be kind of crazy in terms of, there'd be a heap of pressure on her if she went on a losing streak, and I get that. So I agree with you on that, and thank you for your comment. I'm disappointed you unsubscribed, but maybe you just said that. Who knows? Please come back because I do normally have some good thoughts, but that one might have been a little bit left field. But staying on the
should probably reject us.
Sure, we would. Actually, she's actually sick at the moment.
She's not well at the moment.
Yeah, yes. Hopefully she gets better.
Yes, hope she gets better. And sticking on the women's theme, I watched the women's match on the weekend, West Ham versus Villa, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but wow, what a match! It was West Ham went 2-0 up in the first half. Yeah, against the run of play. And from then on, I thought Villa were magnificent. Really, took the game to them. Daly, she's an unbelievable player. The number 10, the Spanish girl, I forget her name.
She's
as well.
French.
Yeah. Okay. What's her name? Can I help me out?
It's not Daly, but it's like spelled Dali.
Yes.
Yeah. She's a good player.
Daly,
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, she's amazing, and I thought they played really well and put a lot of pressure on. We're really unlucky not to get back into the game, but the big moment, Aman, was the sending off of the West Ham player who, after getting into a bit of sort of pushy and shovey, punched Daly in the face.
No, Sarah Mailing.
Was it Mailing? Yeah. Okay. Punched her in the face and got a straight red card, and you don't see that sort of thing from the women's game very often.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be honest and say I don't watch the women that often, but obviously saw the clip on Twitter, and I think she threw a punch first, and then it kind of half landed. And then our player retaliated, and then she open-handedly smacked her.
Yeah.
And then it was good from our players. Actually, they ran to the person that got hit and held them back, I think, to stop them from doing something bad, because it looked like it was going to kick off.
Yeah.
But yeah, just crazy scenes. Disappointing. Obviously, you don't want to see that.
No.
Don't expect to see that either, especially in the women's game as well. Yeah, bit of excitement. Maybe tune into the women's games now.
Well, that's it. I enjoy the game. I think it's a lot more open. I think it's there was there was a lot of chances, a lot of goal mouth action. And after the red card, there was a bit of a scuffle on the bench as well. And I think Paul Konchesky, the coach of West Ham women's, got sent off. So it was really kicking off for a while there. And it was it certainly made for an interesting end to the game. But unfortunately, that was Villa's first defeat of the season. They're doing well. They're I think they're in the top 4 or 5, and
they're up there. But they also, in the first month, Rachel Daly and Clara Ward won Manager Player of the Month. So they both got their reward for that. So yeah, fair play to them.
Yeah, Daly's unbelievable. And unfortunately there was a missed penalty for Alicia Lehman. Wasn't a bad penalty. She struck it quite well in the corner, but it was a good save from the West Ham keeper. And yes, unfortunately for her, but good news for her was Dougie Louise has re-signed. So
I cannot believe I woke up to that news, honestly. Like,
yeah,
you said that news, and because it was all like he's going to want to leave in January, he's going to push for a move, he's going to leave as a free agent, and then it's like Douglas Louise has re-signed. I've gone, where has this come from?
Unbelievable. It must be Alicia, right, Aman?
Agent
Alicia.
That's it.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but I guess it's a good business perspective. We were, probably going to lose him for free, and now if he does decide to leave, at least we get a transfer fee. But hopefully he doesn't. Wanting to stay. So he's made over 100 appearances, right, in the Premier League, or so
close, at least close to it.
Yeah. So I think if he sticks around, hopefully we do get a new manager in, tides turn, get a manager that plays him as a number 8 consistently, and we can see the best of him. Like, I think we've seen glimpses of it, but he just hasn't been that consistent, given that consistent go in his right position. And it's unfortunate that Kamara's gotten injured, but as I said, got Dendonka on the bench that can play as a 6. Surprised that Nakamba hasn't played, considering that when Gerrard did come in last year, Nakamba was one of our top performers. Guessing just hasn't performed in preseason to that standard, or whatever it is. But yeah, hopefully we can see Louise longer term, at least for another season and a half, and see him as number 8, and see what he can become.
And I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there's another number 6 brewing in the under 21s named Frederick Gilbert. Was playing as a number 6 in the under 21s. So
really?
Keep an eye out for that youngster. Never heard of him before, but see if Steven Gerrard actually likes this one.
That's a man's mate from the pub. I don't see him playing at all ever, ever again. But no, it's good to know that he's still around, I guess, because. Well,
I respect it though, because he doesn't have to play in the under 21s. He doesn't have to. Apparently, you have to nominate to play, because I think you can have 3 or 2 outfield players over the age of 21 and a goalkeeper if you want. Yeah. So, and you have to nominate. So fair play. I mean, he doesn't. As I said, doesn't have to play. So good on him.
All right. Well, that's about it for this week. We will be back for Fulham away on Thursday night. So. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you get all of our videos as soon as they drop. And there might be some news with a new manager for the next video. So make sure if that happens, please watch and comment down below on this video. What you liked from the game on against Chelsea, what you didn't like. If you think Gerrard will go, who do you think will replace him? Any thoughts, any criticisms of my crazy takes like last week? Just put them in there. That's fine. And we appreciate all your support, of course. And we will be back for Fulham. So up the Villa, and we'll see you later in the week. Catch ya. See ya.